Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
We have a great guest teacher tonight, and I'm going to allow Jessica to introduce him because she actually is the person who was wise enough to bring him on board so we can all learn from him. So, Jessica, if you want to go ahead and introduce Derek and Azil, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks, Gary. So I want to introduce you guys to Azael Kaiser. He is an expert in new construction with Estella Living in Central Florida. So we're excited to have him on to share more about Estella Living, as well as how we as realtors can work more efficiently with the builders to help the buyers have the best experience possible. So we also have Derek Sutton, who is the VP of Operations at Estella Living with us. So welcome to you both, and thanks for joining us for Monday Night Live.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity. I just want to make sure everybody can see my screen and can hear me just before sharing my screen.
Yeah, we can see you and hear you. You should be able to just hit share and then select what it is you want to share. If you select the upper left-hand corner, there you go. Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
How many people we have in the meeting? I'm curious about it.
Yeah, so far 24, but there'll probably be closer to 40 by the time it's real estate. So 7 o'clock means 7:05, 7:10, 7:15, you know. But you'll see the numbers growing as we move on, you know.
No, that's awesome. I just want to say thank you, EXP, especially Jessica, Gary, for the opportunity. Most like to teach to you guys is more like the experience to give some values and have interaction with you guys about your experience and how every market are running right now, especially new construction. As you guys know, and probably there's a lot of people with more experience than me here. Markets changing every day, real estate changing every day, and I think that's what we need to be prepared for, to be dynamic and to be open to learn and be able to get some knowledge every day for everybody and for our own experience. So basically, more like to teach you, I just wanted to share and my experience and listen from you in what market you are, because I know a lot of people from different states and probably from different countries too, right?
Could be, yeah, definitely. We have agents in 38 states. There's also agents here, could be from different brokerages. It's an open class, and
Oh,
possibly some investors too, from as many as 30 some odd countries, you know.
that's awesome. Well, I'm here in Florida, in Orlando, and I'm originally from Panama City, Panama Canal. I grew and raised there, and I started basically real estate when I was in my 20 in Panama. And then I moved here in United States in 2007, 2016. I did a few flips. I have the opportunity to invest in a few apartments. And I basically started as a landlord. Funny thing, in my 20s, I really had any clue what I was getting into, you know. But I think when you want to learn and you have the passion to do what you want to be, I think that was matter. And I always said, if you put your value first before the money will come to you. And that's why I started new construction, because my first apartment, I was 23 years old, no clue what I was doing. And it took me like 3 years to get my apartment. I was traumatized with my experience, so traumatized, because at the end, I couldn't live in my apartment. I have to rent it, and that was kind of like sad, because I was prepared and excited to live in my first home, and I couldn't enjoy it because times come and I understand the importance of time. And this is very important for us working in real estate. And as you know, when we get a buyer through we go into closing, times can be our friends or time can be our enemy. And sometimes people can understand the value of time. And sometimes people believe, oh, new construction, they do whatever they want. It's not what builders really want to do whatever they want. It's because behind the scene, there's a lot of timing and a lot of people that need to be on there to present you to you and your buyers how the really things can go to the closing. So that's why I bring my passion to new construction, and I think to tonight bring the value understanding new construction or new build as a real estate agent is very, very important. And I think if you guys can share between I'm sharing my my PowerPoint. If you have any question or anything to add to the presentation, I will be happy to to listen for you. So this is basically I wanted to be as an open conversation, open presentation, to learn from our experiences. Um, like I said, part of the agenda is basically introduction, our primary goals already shared with you, and then we have part of the content, the content. So, and I would like to start with this question: why new construction matter in today's market? So, anybody would like to say or tell me something about this question? Have any idea?
Well, I know in my area there is a housing shortage, or especially a few years ago, there were housing shortages, and the new construction was in response to that. There's been a huge boom in the metro Atlanta area for new construction. So it is helping individuals that are moving to the area get into houses where it might not have been possible without new construction.
Yeah, that's totally true. And I always bring this question too, because especially for new agents, because new construction for in general, I think is important because uh could be sometimes short on inventory, in the community. And it's important because modern features, energy efficiency, and probably you don't have to be surprised to fix stuff when your buyer moves to your house. Another good thing is because you can personalize auctions for your buyers when they come to new construction. That's another good thing too. And as a builder, we offer a lot of incentive to the buyers, especially if they are first-time home buyers. So that's very important. And also if they have in a relocation part. So, and I think this is more important. It's very important too. Knowing about the new constructions that help to support the community growth. So that's I think is very important in general and affect everybody in real estate. And real estate, as you guys know, affect everything today. And I think this is important to know that as a new real estate or as anybody who's working in the real estate. Another question that I bring is how knowledge of new builds enhance your values. Anybody have any idea or have a thought about this question? Or would like to make a comment?
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, I mean, in our business, new construction is one of the most, it's a cornerstone to the industry's success because it involves so many other industries. I mean, every house that's built requires lumber to be brought in. So you got, the timber farms you're involving, the mills you're involving, the shipping of the lumber, right? The stores selling the lumber, Home Depot and Lowe's and so forth. Then you got carpenters that use the lumber, and that's just wood. You factor in electrical, plumbing supplies, cabinetry, windows, doors, roofing, flooring, foundation, footer. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It has a huge positive impact on the economy, and that's why we historically have always looked at new construction to keep us going or bail us out of any kind of recession. It's classic supply and demand economics.
Yeah, absolutely. And so sorry, I just have my little dog here. Give me one second.
That's
So
cool.
he needs
He's
to be
welcome.
in camera. So sorry.
No, that's all right. And by the way, while that's going on, guys, as an agent, I mean, we have a huge push going on right now, not just on our team, and I'm pretty sure we're not the only brokers that realize the value of this, but definitely participate. I'm so glad you guys who are here in class, and I feel bad for those who aren't, because we got more people coming on later on talking about a particular bridge loan you can get for your clients who want to sell an existing home and buy new construction. And the bridge loan will allow them to actually fund remodeling on their existing home to sell it for more money. So there's a huge push right now. The Facebook ad that we're running through Funnel Pilot, right? There's several of them, but the one that we're running almost across the board is new construction. So definitely learn tonight what you can learn and how you can serve the builders and developers, because you'll have a friend for life and a steady stream of income.
I'm so sorry for the interruption, guys.
That's right. Hey, we're pet friendly here, kids too. You know.
Yeah, it's a puppy. It's probably 9 months and
Mhm.
it's a Frenchie, so they're very needy and stubborn.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, getting back to the conversation. The to the knowledge of new construction and how it enhance your value as a real estate agent in so many ways. Because I always think in the way like when I get this new construction or new property and I help my buyers, I put this person in a new construction. Uh, I always believe that that person going to resell the house. So I don't know if you guys thinking that way. Some of the people's not, and it's for me something is funny because a lot of agents they just want to concentrate in listings or reselling, and they don't really still don't understand the important value of new construction and it's very interested. And in my case, like I said, I don't have too many years in experience, but I've been having the opportunity to talk with a lot of people with experience, and they still just believe that resale is the opportunity for them. And believe it or not, today's market, they've been changing that thought. And I always ask them like, what happened with just reselling? I said, well, we just adapting to the market. And I say like, well, a year ago you was telling me like, oh, resell. And now you saying like, oh, new construction is important. Have you been changed your thought about new construction? I said, well, this is different. That's why we are trying to move new construction. And I said, well, so you are contradicting yourself about your thought 1 year ago. And that person said, well, it's, markets change and that's what we need to do. And that's a valid point too. And bring it to the table, I think we should be able to adapt to the market change. So have anybody here have the experience in 2008, 2009 with the market?
Mhm.
You guys
Oh,
talk
yeah.
a little bit. I know probably everybody been asking you. You be maybe telling about so many times, but can you share a little bit about in the perspective with the new construction side? What happened with new construction in that point in that year?
Well, I tell you what we were doing, we had a lot of investors, and the investors were buying new construction to rent out because they knew there were a lot of people that would otherwise be buying a road home and getting a mortgage, but they were able to get mortgages a lot of times at that point in time. And they liked it because most builders gave them a 10-year warranty on from the footer under the foundation to the ridge on top of the roof. The house is covered for 10 years, and even including appliances sometimes. So you generally get better tenants to rent there. You get everything brand new. You have almost zero expenses for 10 years.
Right.
And then in 10 years, and they would turn around and sell it to the same tenants on like a owner financing deal. It was a brilliant strategy, you know?
What about you, Eric?
I had a slightly different experience because I had some good close relationships with I was living in Seattle at the time, so builders down in Bend and Redmond, Oregon. I actually was buying like 15 houses at a time so they could close out the phase of the development they were in so they could move on to their next phase. And then I would just either rent them or turn around and sell them retail. So the market was hot. It's actually still growing in Bend and Redmond. So I got lucky there. I didn't get so lucky in other markets, but anyway, '09 wasn't so kind to me.
Totally true. Well, just a little is history about that. In 2008, it was basically the first time that I came to United States, and I had the opportunity to invest in a commercial, basically what is called a branding part. I took an opportunity to own a brand. I purchased the brand and I brought it to Panama. For me, that was huge because then till today I still own that brand in Panama and I still use for commercial trade. So I always think like, in between of situation is always opportunity. And that's why I came with this phrase here from Richard Branson that he said business opportunities are like buses, there are always another one coming. So
Mhm.
for me, it was an opportunity. For a lot of people who was sad. I wasn't happy about it. I have friends, they lost a lot of money. They lost, a lot of job. It was pretty sad, you know. But the idea of this is like between today compared to today market, it's a lot of real estate agents out there. It's a lot of builders out there. And sometimes I always bring new agents because it's tough for new agents. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I always come with my experience. When I start in here in Florida in 2020, first as a licensee and as a real estate agent, and then sign as a membership as a realtor, becoming from being a landlord to be a real estate agent was totally different. And I thought I knew everything because I was owning a few properties, and especially coming from another country, I was totally wrong. But I tried to always look for the opportunity in between, the scarcity of my knowledge and what is I was getting into. So, and this idea about opportunities in today's market for new agents, I say, I know there's a lot of inventory out there. There's a lot of real builders offering incentive and a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think if you're a realtor and a real estate agent, I think what do you think is the first thing that you need to think when become in this market today? It's about our commission,
Mm.
or it's about what? Anybody have an idea or a thought? I personally think it's about the buyers,
Mm.
it's about our customer, it's about the sellers. It's not about us because we are the expert. And that's why we get a license. And that's how we need to put together everything. Yes, anybody have a thought? So that's how we need to shine bright in front of our sellers or our buyers. And becoming in this situation today with this market, I think our right thing to do is to set the expectation of the buyers or sellers and try to bring the best for their needs. Anybody agree with this thought or anything else that we'd like to add with the idea? That would be great. Somebody can add something. What about you, Gary?
No, I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, um, we have a buyer process, a questionnaire. It's a whole process, but part of it is a questionnaire that to find out what their needs and wants are. And a lot of times, consumers really don't know. It's not that they're not smart; they just haven't really put any like analytical thought into it. Whether they need 2-story, 1-story, 4 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and where do they want to live? What part of town, or they want to move? There's a lot to consider. And so somebody's got to be the bus driver. So my philosophy is we, the agent, have to be the bus driver, and then we can put the consumers, the buyers, the sellers, everybody on the right seat on the right bus. So people that they can't get qualified, for example, they're still on the bus. We put them in one of the back rows, so we stay in contact with them. But we need to focus our time and energy on the people in the front of the bus who are ready, willing, and able to buy or sell. It's just their, it's just makes sense, business sense, you know.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And it's true. That's why I say, especially right now in today's market, you will find a lot of promotion out there from different builders. But are you looking at your buyers' expectation, or at least for what exactly they need? So that's my question always. And sometimes when you share with so many realtors, especially with new agents, you need to be very careful, because you need to remember that you have a license first, that take time, and is a very important value for you to do business, and the ethics, and that's what you need to transmit to your buyers or seller, because you want them to keep working from you, not just for one transaction. You want more than one, they want they to referral their family, their friends, and they keep doing business with you. And I think this is the beauty of real estate, especially for, I always take this from other real estate agents that have been in the industry for more than 20 years, and that's how they've been doing business. And something they just, I literally marry with some kind of builders, just for saying, but and I ask, and I say, well, it's because the most important for me is the value that I bring to the buyers, and the value that that other person bring to me. And if I can bring some value to my buyers or my sellers, and other people bring some values to me, I think the business will come, and I've been, success for the rest of my life doing businesses. So, and we need to really understand that, especially in today market. And a lot of people get scary, and a lot of people, get like, what's going on, what's happened. But I think I always think, are you really doing your part, knowing about what's going on in around the corner or next to your neighbor, because I think is how real estate start. And I think it's important to bring the value first to you, and then you bring to the other person. So, and continue with the idea of the new construction knowledge for real estate agent. Like we said, we need to understand the current market. We mentioned about that, and the trend in new construction, and also the buyer's demand and preference, and the opportunity for agents. And when it's come with opportunity for agents, I think there's a lot. And you need to understand that, again, put your buyer first, and opportunities will come all the time for you. And when I said that, it's because, it's not just about the commission that you're gonna get. It's the reward of working with a family that's gonna bring you some other buyers to your size. And again, I take this from other agents that have been in the industry for more than 20 years, and they just have referral all year long. That's how they work. Referrals all year long, and and when they don't have referrals, I think they find buyers very easy, but just because they've been working and doing the right thing, and partnership with the right person. And when it's come with partnership, I think that's very important to know and understand the position of every party. When you wanted to the partnership with our realtors, it's very with a builder, it's very important to know who they are, what they've been doing, what kind of product they do, how long they've been in the market, and what, again, it sounds like a broken record, the value, what they're going to bring to your buyers and to you. And that's important because once you start doing a right partnership, and business will come to you every day. And I truly believe in that. Anybody would like to add something about this in this point?
Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that, you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay. The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay. One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay. One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You've got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
Yeah, I just want to say from a buyer's perspective, I've admittedly never bought a new construction here in the US, but I have bought some in other countries. And I think what I like it as an international buyer is what you're getting. If you have a builder that you've worked with in the past, if you buy another house from them, you know what you're getting, the level of service you're going to get. And in one case in particular, we had a real issue with one of the houses, and it was pretty bad, but the way they dealt with it, they fixed the problem quickly. And I always say a mess up is an opportunity to prove yourself and actually strengthen the relationship if it's dealt with properly and timely. And they really did that. So a few years later, we ended up buying another house from that same developer. So I think, gaining the trust of the buyers and having that reputation is really important because, we've bought houses from this developer sight unseen just because we know what we're going to get. So I agree, it's really important, the value that the builders bring.
Absolutely. Yes, that's true. And that's bringing that to the point is we need to know exactly what is the benefit of selling new construction. And just to mention a few, the competition is not really a competition for resale. And I think, I don't want to get into into a fight or dilemma, because resale is very important as a new construction is, just to start from that point. But we need to put our feet in the ground. Today market, I think new construction could be a first auction for particular buyers. Maybe for other are not, but at least you need to keep informed and do your due diligence of what's going on in the market and offer exactly what your buyers are looking for. So one of the other benefits is the timely transaction process. Let's be honest, new construction process can be a little easy, but at the same time, like you said, Jessica, can be very stressful. But that's when your expertise as a real estate agent come to the table and you show to your buyers why they're hiring you. And the most important here in the transaction process is to know exactly what you're getting into or what your buyer's getting into, and when they sign with a builder for the house, because if you don't know what are you getting into, that's terrible. And it's very looking bad on you And probably if that buyer have a bad experience in the transaction, they probably never come back to you because you never prepare the buyers. And this is personal. And when I was working in general real estate, that was the part that I learned in new construction. I took the time to go through every different builders and make my due diligence, comparing, looking at the product, looking at every single details before bringing my buyer. And most important, knowing with who was representing that builder, who was the face of that builder. Can I trust that person? Can I really believe what he's telling me, or what exactly is in the contract? Or I took the time to read the builder's contract. So all those things are very important and come to this point in a streamlined transaction process. Because if you know every detail about how the builder work and what is your position representing your buyer, I think we will have a success 100% clear, no messy transaction. And that's when the builders come to you and want to be your partner forever, because they know the product, the process, you doing your part, and we as a builder doing our part. Does anybody have any positive experience in regards transaction or something we like to share when it's come to that point? I would like
Oh yeah.
to hear. I would like
But
to hear.
I built two of my own homes, and the thing is, it's so much easier. And I've obviously helped some of my clients buy new construction. It is so much easier than traditional resales because once you bring the buyer and the builder together, the builder literally takes over from there. I mean, picking all the finishes and the types of faucets and light fixtures and carpeting and all that. And also, a lot of builders have relationships existing with local lenders, so the lending process is easier. You get a warranty at the end, and also you have a final walkthrough. The builder creates what's called a punch list, and they take care of everything on the punch list. You don't really have to worry about inspections and stuff like that. I mean, the county will come and inspect and make sure when the foundation's done, the roof is done, the wiring, that's different. But it is way easier for an agent to work new construction. And to me as a consumer, I liked it better too because I had a lot of say so in what was going into the house.
Absolutely. That's totally true. When
Mhm.
you know in the process and the builder help you through and the builder is transparent with the process, I think everybody should be happy. And let's be real, there's a lot that can happen in a transaction. No matter it is 30 days, 3 months, 60, 90 days, there's
Mhm.
a lot of things that's going on. But at least if we as a builder and you as a agent, as a realtor, know what to do, I think anything that's come to the moment of the transaction negative, we can take care of that together as a partner, as a collaboration. Because sometimes when you are not collaborating, and collaboration doesn't mean like you need to do what the other part want to do or wanted to get from. Collaboration means just to have a realistic, nice, smooth transaction. You represent your buyer, we represent the sellers, and we're going to do the best to go through this. And that's something that is a misconception out there, and a lot of people maybe feel scared to working with builders because they say, "Oh no, I don't want to work with a builder because this." But I always said, have you took the time to do your due diligence, to do your part, to know the builder? Most of the day, they don't even know, and sometimes they don't even know all the incentive and all the opportunities out there for the buyers. And I think when you are losing money out of your buyers, that's terrible, because not everybody have the money or the full amount or to put all the money they need, because after you close, you have a lot of expenses, especially if people are in relocation, or probably they've been spending in rent. They need to buy new furniture, So probably they've been spending in storage, or even worse, they've been probably waiting in a hotel on Airbnb. So as much you can get the incentive from the builder and help your buyers, I think it's good to know what the builders, how we can get and collaborate together to make the deal happen, and at the same time helping both sides. And I think today market is a lot of opportunity out there when it's come to with incentive, especially with interest rate and all that kind of stuff for first-time home buyers. And then it's come with the long-term client satisfaction. We already mentioned about that. I think this is important. Everybody need to know at this point what is come with a long-term client satisfaction. The buyer's gonna looking for you, they're gonna refer a business to you, and at the same time, builders would like to, working in partnership with you. Okay, so this is a very important point, and some things can be an objection for buyers and even for realtors. So construction delays. So anybody have any thought before I start digging in this? When it's come with construction delays, what do you think exactly what's happened? Do you think it's just because builders don't want to build the house, or they just try to be smart, or what exactly you think when delays happen?
Lots of things can cause delays.
Sorry?
Lots of things can cause delays. Materials, work, weather, all kinds of things.
Anybody have another thought?
Yeah, one thing I've seen is, particularly with smaller construction crews, is, boy, if somebody can't show up because they got sick, like an electrician or a plumber that's doing all the wiring, all the plumbing, and they're out for a week or two, that means they're delaying the framer from finishing, who's delaying the drywall guy who can't do this, and then they're delaying the painters. Well, some of those guys are going to go off and get other work because you need to earn money. So I've seen that the delay cause ripple effects like that. It just, it doesn't happen so much with the bigger outfits because they have multiple crews. They can, if one crew can't show up for electrical wiring, they can get another one. But I've seen that. I've seen that a couple times. That can be a real pain in the neck.
Yeah, that's what I meant by workers.
Yeah, and sometimes can be an objection from some buyers, or sometimes for even for real estate agent, and they don't want to help the buyers with new construction. But at the end of the day, I think always, hey, just get informed and do your part, and start asking questions. And I think when you start asking questions to yourself and to the person that you are want to work, and also to your buyers, all those objections, especially when it come with buyers, can be addressed, and all the concerns can be cleared up, and you will have a better understanding of the process. So it's true, delays can happen, but it's going to be depends also in what is the position in the markets today. So I think today, they really, how we have a lot of inventory, I don't think is going to be an objection for delays or big delays, because the market is not too bad in the way, like, to make this objection number one for our buyers or even for the builders, because we have the opportunity, especially with us, we have the opportunity to have a crew, we have the equipment, the materials, and we trying to predict what's going to happen at least in the next 3 or 6 months with the inventory. But it's good to know and try to explain your buyers the situation, and ask the builder, is this something people feel scared to ask this question to the builder, because they're going to think the builder's going to play you and not going to tell you the truth. That's not, at least with my experience, I always ask, and I always been asking, hey, what's going to happen if this person signed this contract today? The house is ready, or the house you guys said is going to be ready in 2 or 3 months. So what is the realistic expectation? Are we in calendar? Are we in the, in the schedule? So the builders going to tell you, because guess what? We want to close. everybody wants to close. So when we understand that, I think that's make it easy and make a better way to address to your buyers. Because sometimes people believe, oh no, they don't want to close or this or this. No, everybody want to close. I think the buyers and the seller are the main people that really want to close. So just be mindful about that. And if it come as an objection for your buyers, be aware and be prepared. Ask, go there, dig, be partner with the person that is in doing the sale with you. So hey, this really thing's gonna be on time, or no, there's any problem, there's any issue with the CEO, with the permit, the certificate of occupancy, especially with the house, if the house is ready. So sometimes the house is ready, but the certificate of occupancy maybe is not there yet. So, and that can happen. And sometimes if you don't ask, it can be a bummer for your buyers. And then problems come because sometimes people, oh, but the house is ready. But yeah, we don't have the certificate yet. So why? When in our case, we will explain you what is the delay, and then you can answer to your buyer. So the most important, I always believe, is the communication and have the good positive attitude to go and try to address whatever wrong circumstances in the process came. Because when you are try to facing as an enemy, I think is when the things start getting bad for everybody. And I need to be honest, 100%. Something happened because we are dealing with people. We're dealing with different personalities, and that can happen. And I 100% sure a lot of you guys here may have that experience. So we try to do our best, but sometimes we are different kind of personality, and that can be a situation. So, but we need to address that part, and that's important: the communication and how you address it with your buyers, and especially with the builders. Anybody have another thought or question before I move forward to the next point, or anything to add?
If you guys want, you can also put questions in the chat box too, and Eric
Yes,
and I
anybody
and
have a
Zale, you can
chat?
actually see them too. Yeah.
Yes, I can have something here in the chat, but okay. Go back. Something very important for you guys, and I know probably a lot of you guys know, when you work with a builder, it's very important to register your clients and register yourself. So, how many of you guys here been doing new construction, just to know, or having experience with new construction? Probably a lot of you guys, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So maybe this is not new for you. You guys need to know that it's very important when it comes with a new construction to register your client and register yourself. And before to bring your clients or your buyers, it's important to go first. And I always, especially in particular, personal myself, I always would like to hear from the realtor first, because something can be very awkward when the buyers show without the agents. Uh, there's a lot of other builders, or can be different other builders, that doesn't accept that, and you as a real estate agent can lose your commission. Because sometimes when your buyer doesn't really trust on you, they just go there and they start digging around and start doing their own things. But I think that's important that you set the guidelines, and maybe some are a little tough, the rules when you're going to work with the buyers, especially when it's going with new construction, because you need to avoid this situation of not getting your commission just because the buyer didn't tell you, or they didn't went somebody else and he didn't register, or they even didn't say that he was working with you. So for me, this is very important. Why? Because I'm a realtor too. I'm working with a builder, But at the same time, I sign up as a realtor. My membership with my with the builder broker is as a real estate agent, as a realtor. So that's why for me it's very important you guys understand that wherever builder you're working, and because if you have that bad experience, especially if you're working with me, I don't want you to lose the opportunity to work with me just because a mistake. But at the same time, as a real estate agent, as a realtor, I like to collaborate. And that's why, to me, this is very important. When you go to work with any real estate agent, try to be ahead, do your part, and go first and register your buyer, register yourself. All the builders normally have websites, and just call me. Hey, listen, I have a buyer. I would like to register myself. I don't know about you. Are you building in this area? For how long? And what exactly, just try to make the connection, and the relationship will help and will save, the opportunity to don't lose, I would say, money. Because at the end of the day, if you're working with a buyer and you've been, giving all the information from different real estate agent for different builders, and then you find the right opportunity for your buyers, this buyer can lose the opportunity to buy the right home with the right builder. So that's why it's very important for me, and it should be very important for you guys when it's going with the registration, and know first, go you first with the builders before your buyers came to our model centers. So does anybody have any experience about this before? Or you guys very know about that with all the builders, or how that work in all the states? They have any rules or different regulation when it's come with that? Anybody would like to share something about this? The registration part?
I think Sam has a question to her in the Q&A, but Sam, if you come off the mute and just ask your questions, that'd be helpful. And then Anna has her hand up next.
Okay, let me take a look.
Not necessarily a question. Just wanted to let you know that my buyer was able to get his EMD back. So hopefully we can do something else. I'm not sure if I'm in the mood to continue to go in the route of new construction from the experience that I had with this national home builder, but we had to basically file a lawsuit to get our EMD back. And it was nothing to do with him not performing, my buyer. It had to do with he had child support that was in arrears that I didn't know about until it came up later in the process. So, it ended up working out. But sometimes, you got to take the initiative to work for your buyer and show him that you're on his side too. So hopefully that will be something he sees that that benefited him, that I saved him from losing his ZMD. That's all.
Okay.
It happens. Life, it's a home builder that just tried to take a ZMD because they had the financing company as well. So they not only did they build the house, but they also had the financial, getting the loan through the same company. And he could have lost his 10,000 EMD just because they wanted to jerk him around.
Got you.
Well, Sam, you said it was the buyer. He had some backed up child support sneak up on him. Was that what that was?
Yeah. For some reason, when we got pre-approved and it didn't show up.
Sam, you have to remember the builder has sunk cost into this thing. It's not like he's just trying to take the money for nothing. The builder is running a business. That guy not paying his child support is not the builder's problem. Not trying to be harsh about it, just being realistic,
Yeah, but I mean, my point is, as a real estate agent, me, Sam Arfan, not the builder, not the buyer, I did my best to make sure that I helped the buyer not lose his EMD. And so that allows me to have a reputation that I can be trusted. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. No, I thank you for sharing that experience, and I think that's is wonderful that you are sharing that, because this is real life, and I like that, because I have experience like that too. But again, when it's come to this, I think we as a real estate agent, we need to prepare for the worst and always for the best too, And it's important to read the contract. It's very important, and I think this is basic in real estate. We need to read the contract. Nobody, no, it is our FAR from our realtor association, or for land, or for builders. I think it's very important to understand the contract, and I think that's basic. And if I don't know, Gary, if you agree with me in that part. And when it's come to new construction, it's very important. And one of the things I do, believe it or not, I make the buyers to read the contract, because I don't want this misunderstanding, or I don't want it to come like, say, oh, the realtors, I never hear about that. I never heard about this. And it's our right, and it's the ethic part, to make sure that people read the contract. I know that excitement, they're happy, they got approved, they got all the incentive, they got 3.99 interest rate, only 3,000 deposit. Hey, but wait, I know you're excited, but let's do things right. Let's read and understand the contract. We are not lawyers, but at least make sure you read the contract. I know some builders' contract can be like a Bible, okay? But hey, this is a home. This is a house for these people. And sometimes I say, this is probably the $1 million home for this family. It's probably maybe just 2,000 grand, 2,000, 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000. Hey, but that's what we need to understand sometimes. This is the most valuable for this family, or for this person, or for these investors. And when we understand that, I think is going to make things so easy. And when something happens, we will be able to fix it, or try to look for a solution, instead of just making it worse. And I think it's very important. Sometimes it may sound like a broken record, but I always tell the realtor where I work, read the contract. I know you trust me. I know I can trust you. But hey, let's do our part. Make sure your buyers read the contract. It's very important. Okay? Anybody have anything else to share about this part?
Anna has a question if you want to come off mute, Anna.
Hi, thank you so much for today. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you, my friend. No, not necessarily a question regarding the contracts part, but I'm in the San Antonio area and we're very heavily new construction based. So about 95% or so on my buy side transactions are new construction. And I just wanted to comment on what you had mentioned about the registration of the it's all relationships, and there are some builders that absolutely have to have specific protocol followed, but I've run into so many instances where I had a client who didn't listen to my instructions at the time of the prior presentation, and they decided to take a tour of the neighborhoods without me being there. And so I've had so many instances where I've had to call the reps and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I just found out my client's on the way to see you. Can you please register them under, my name? And that's gone through just fine. And I think it all depends on, again, the relationships that you're forming. But for us here in the Texas market, it is uh, if you're not doing new construction, you're missing a huge, huge, huge piece of the puzzle, because right now our pre-existing listings are sitting on the market, at least in my market. They're sitting on the market, days on market, extremely long, all because new builds are just able to dominate with the incentives they're offering, the warranties they're willing to put up, the interest rates that they're able to offer in the midst of these high high interest rates that we're currently experiencing. So they're bringing a lot more affordability. Just to illustrate one point that I think was really a shocker for me as well. In 1 week, I had two closings. One of the closings was a new construction home. It was a client who had reached out. They wanted to purchase a new built home that was originally priced 723. But I also knew that this builder was also one that has a really good margin put into padded into their price. So we were able to get it under contract for 623. And so we got it under contract for 623. And for a VA loan, same exact, it was a 780 plus credit score for this buyer. Um, at the same time that I closed on this, and their mortgage was 4,100, something to that extent. 4,000, I think it was short of 4,100, actually, if I'm not mistaken. They were able to get a home that was 400 or 500 square feet larger than the other buyer who purchased we closed at the same week. So they both had the same interest, they both had the same credit score, and they were both above 780. So they both got prime rates, basically. Um, with the buyer who did a pre-owned home, we went under contract for 600K. They had to be in this given area, in this exact area. Both VA buyers, both closed at the same time, both around the same credit score. The guy that went with the pre-existing home ended up getting a 400 to 500 square foot less of a home, less size of a home, and his PITI came out to $5,111. The guy that went with the home that was higher priced, 623, his home appraised for 723. By the way, the other buyer's home appraised for 600 exactly. So his home appraised for 723. So he's sitting on that $100,000 of equity. And his PITI was over $1,000 less expensive than the pre-owned home within the same region. It was really a good example of apples to apples comparison between how much affordability new construction can give your clients that pre-owned homes simply cannot, not in this market at least. So I do feel like everything in real estate is cyclical, and there could be a time where that comes to a halt, or maybe the demographics or the dynamics of the market change. But in this market, if you are in an area that has new construction and you haven't tapped into what that space could offer, I think you're putting yourself and your clients at a significant disadvantage.
Absolutely. And thank you for your intervention. It's really interesting, and totally agree with your point when it's going with compare and today's market, how buyers can, maybe lose money or not, and how you do your part as a real estate
Mhm.
agent to make sure that they're getting the right momentum to do the right move. And that's, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Of
You're in
course.
San
Thank you.
Antonio, you said?
I am, yes. So I do San Antonio and Austin in that corridor. So there's definitely a lot of new construction opportunities in
Awesome.
both markets.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Awesome. Anybody else who have another question, or we can move to the next part? I know we are almost close to already to the hour, right? We have enough time?
Yeah, we're good. I usually set a little bit longer anyways, just in case.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
Another important thing when it's going with new construction, especially, depends what is the need of your market, your buyers. Location is very important, and it can be something a concern for a lot of your buyers, and even for real estate agents too, especially in today's market. A lot of agents try to be farming, and I think this is basic real estate. You should work and farm or do farming where you live in. But I don't know, maybe a lot of people won't like what I'm gonna say, but I think today's market, honestly, you need to go where the business are or what is the need of your buyers, because there's a lot of competition when it's come with real estate agents. And at least here in Orlando, is happening right now. I have a lot of agents. I personally live in Orlando, but the project that I'm working with my builder is hour and 30 minutes or hour and 20 minutes, because a lot of people is moving, to Florida, and there's a lot of new construction all over. So we need to diversify our needs and the buyers' need. So a lot of people are still looking in Orlando, but you need to look at, where exactly you are feeling the best and where you can partner with builders, or where you can partners, or where you can do your best to serve your buyers. At least here in Orlando, like I said, this is happening. A lot of agents in Orlando, they have to work, in the surrounding areas, because there are so many agents, there's so many competition, and there's a lot of people try to move and relocate, and it's impossible that everybody working in the same area, when some other areas around are developed and growing, especially in the area where I am in Ocala, that is considered Central Florida. It's literally in the middle, in Florida, hour and 30 minutes from Orlando. So a lot of people have to bring that value to the buyers, because a lot of buyers may not qualify to live in Orlando downtown, because the median price here probably is in the 500s or above, you know and this is very important when you set expectation, and when you as a real estate agent comes to share with your buyers, because a lot of buyers want to say, oh no, I've been living my whole life here in downtown Orlando, but are you making the money to buy here, or you want to keep paying the rent that increasing every year, probably 15-20%, you know so, and this is very interesting right now, what is happening at least in Florida. We've been seeing a lot of people that have been living all his life here in Orlando, in the closest area to the theme park. But unfortunately, they need to move to areas that 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away, or even an hour away from downtown, because it's how the market and the area has been expanding and growing. So it's probably a lot of you in different other states having the same situation. For example, I think in Texas, probably having happened the same. The markets have been growing different area, and a lot of people can afford to live in Central's area, at least like here in Orlando. When this objection come, I think it's the best way for us to share with your buyer is, giving the right information, and ask the right information if they qualify, or where exactly you can find a right home that they can qualify. Or if not, that is not that the case, well, good for you. So you have the right buyer for the right location, but at least make your due diligence and set the right expectation. Be prepared for those questions, especially with investors. Investor like to know, investor likes number, and they like, information about the areas. So you need to do your part. So how much this city or this area been growing the last 5 or even the last year? So in what position this county or this city has been, the last year? So what is the percentage of growing of this county or this city or even the state? So you need to be have that knowledge to share, especially with investors. So they like numbers, they like facts, and you need to know that information. They don't want you to just do a showing. Sorry, they don't want that. They want to know what is the percentage they're going to receive at the end of the year, or on the next 5 years. The house going to appraise, how much money they're going to save, how much money they need to invest, or what is exactly the value that they want to invest in a new construction instead of a flip. So investors want to know reality. They want to know things in black and white. Is different when it's going with first-time home buyers, or when it's going for relocation. So you need to prepare for all these three scenarios: first-time home buyers, relocation, and investor. Once you understand that and come to the location and you can manage it, I think you're gonna be success in any way and all the way to the transaction, and you will have a happy buyer in your end. Anybody have anything to share before I move forward? Okay. So moving forward to the next part is the financial or financing worries. So especially for new home first time home buyers, this is important, and that can be an objection as well. But it's very important that you know and talk with your builder. Normally, most of the builder offer preferred lenders. You need to understand what is the difference or what is the value when it's come working with the preferred lenders with your builders. So it's a benefit, and the benefit normally is come when sometimes the builders can pay part of the closing costs, or when it's come with the forward commitment, they can pay interest rate, down the interest rate for your buyers, what they call the formal commitment. So all those things you need to make sure that you understand when it's come to the concern, because I think this is very important and is the key when it's come to the transaction, because we need to know exactly how the finance are with your buyer. Sometimes we don't know, and this is one of the most important part, other than knowing the location and everything. But we need to ask, and we need to try to prepare before we moving forward to look for a buyers. So, and it's important something that when you get the right property for your buyers, make sure that you can pre-qualify with them. I know a lot of people get worried, but they're gonna run the credit. Anybody have any thought about this before I start moving with that thought? The worry about the finance.
I have a question. If we have a buyer for new construction and they're planning to use the builder's lenders, but they're not sure of certain things about maybe their credit or debt to income ratio or something like that. Coming from the builder side, what would you suggest for buyers like that? Should we try to get them pre-approved, or just wait till they meet with the builder and then run their information? Or what would you suggest in those type of cases?
I think the first thing that if you've been working with a buyer first time you met, I think those are the first question that you need to try to put in your questionnaire. And also there's a lot of tools that you can find even with the builders, that they can help you to give you an idea if your buyers can be pre-qualified or they have the right thing. Normally, a lot of builders or a lot of the lenders, they do something that they call pull soft credit. You can have the conversation with the lender, and I always suggest that do a soft pull credit. Is basically they won't run the credit, but at least they're going to give 90% of what exactly they need and how they can be get a pre-approval. So most of the time ask for soft pull credit. A lot of they do that, and that will be very helpful. And once they select the right home, the next thing to do is just get their pre-approval or the pre-qualification, where they're going to be running their credit, and it's going to be almost 100% clear from the soft pull credit, because it's important to know what exactly your buyers is holding in the financial part. Something they believe they can qualify, or something they think they've never been late, or they always been on time, or the credit card. Sometimes they don't know, like the wife or the husband have a credit card, for surprise, for gift, for birthday. Those kind of things can happen, and something when you pull the credit, the lender is gonna tell you exactly what is in the credit for that buyer. So it's very important to set the expectation and have a conversation with your lender, with the lender of the builder, is they're gonna do the preferred lender, and either with other lenders too. That's important to know But I always suggest the self pool credit. It's a very good option. Anybody else have a question or a thought? Okay, limited negotiation room. This can be an objection. Sometimes, like I said, I think I mentioned already before, sometimes people believe they cannot negotiate with the builders. That's not true. Most of the time, there's, like I said, there's a lot of incentive, and it's gonna be depends on what exactly your buyers need. Most of the builder is your buyer need a help with something. If the house being there and that's the house that the buyer want, and the buyers want to move forward, hey, just present the offer, write the contract with the seller that you're working. Make sure that you present the offer, because most of the time, believe it or not, the builder gonna say yes. Like, okay, what your buyer need, we can help, especially in today's market. So there's a lot of inventory there, and a lot of the builders are looking forward to work with you and make the deal with you. So don't be afraid to ask, or but at least be prepared. It's another thing. It's not just asking, oh, my buyer want this. No, it's not how it works. So let's set the expectation right. So your buyer is in this position, and we're willing to do this, and the builder is gonna be willing to look this, but everything normally need to be in paper and need to set as a process. It's not just asking because you want to ask. And sometimes that can be, some people think they have the right to do that, but honestly, they can do that, yes, but probably they won't get anything, because at the end of the day, everybody's conducting a business, and we want to make sure that we really can help you what you need, and that's the difference when you just winning or trying to get advantage of the situation. It's completely different, and that can happen sometimes, and sometimes things need to be at least, as a very professional courtesy, like, hey, this is what we need, this is where we are, and that's what we would like to, the goal to get this deal done. As long as you work in that way, very professional and very ethical, I think that can get it done, and you can have a nice negotiation with the builder. Anybody have a thought or a question about it? Okay. Sometimes the lack of character for homes can be an objection as well for new construction. But as long as you can address this with your buyer and knowing what exactly they need, I think you will be successful in looking the right home with the right builder for your home. And today, every buyer is very different, but there's a lot of updates in the market. And believe it or not, there's a lot of builders out there that maybe doesn't know the right thing for your buyers. But if you look at for exactly what your buyers need, I think all these thing of objection that are being mentioned in the presentation can be addressed for positive point for you as a real estate agent. So you need to make sure and be aware of what exactly your buyers need and listen exactly. And again, I know probably a lot of you guys know about this, but it's always good to remember those points, because sometimes we can, just forget about these things. And it's important to know exactly what you are getting into your buyers when it comes with what exactly they need, especially with the new construction size, because for example, in our case, we try to be very contemporary. The other builders are, more classic, or they keep the different all standards, when it's come with construction. But there's always a buyer for every home, believe it or not. And if they've been doing it for so long, hey, that's the recipe they've been working. But you need to make sure what exactly is the home that your buyers are looking for. When it comes with post-construction issues, it's very important to know what exactly is the warranties that that the builders are giving to you. So it's very, very important to address this part. And when it's come with the builders always want to offer you at least 1 year builder guarantees or structure guarantees. Sometimes come for like 10 years up to 20 years. Going to be depend exactly what they're offering to you. And it's important to ask before you get into, and you have the knowledge to share with your buyer. Hey, this builder is offering you 1 year builder guarantee. What does it mean? So anything in related with electric, plumbing, it will be covered, or after you have a 10 years structure warranty. What does it mean? So it mean like, it's working for the wall, for the roof, those kind of things. So it's very important to know what exactly are what your buyers are gonna be getting when it's come with warranties. And when it's come with guarantees, also can be some post-construction issues. So it's very important, to know and walk before closing. Most of the builder always offer what is they call the initial builders initial walk. Also, a lot of people do what is called the inspection. You guys have the right to request an inspection from a third party, and that's give you the peace of mind to your buyers and as well for yourselves. So a lot of people believe that third-party inspection are not necessary for new construction. Hey, this is a real estate, a mistake can happen. And I think the best thing to do if your buyer need that trust, why not? Of course, he may have to pay out of the pocket $300 or $400, but just do the right thing and try to help the buyer to feel the trust and give the opportunity. A lot of builders, they like that because they know they're building a good home, and they want to make sure to keep working with you. So, and if the builder give you the opportunity, and I've agreed with that, hey, I think that's a good thing to consider too, because maybe some others, they don't like the third party inspection, but why not, So it's important to know that. Maybe some others say, oh no, they are not allowed. They might give you some kind of issues. I personally will stay away from that kind of builder. I don't want to throw anybody in the bus, but hey, things need to make sense, right? And when it's come to you to serving your buyers, I think yourself need to feel the trust coming from the other party that you are collaborating. Because if they cannot collaborate with you, why you want to keep doing business with somebody that don't really want to do the right thing? And we're very open to those part of things when it's come with inspection, and you have to consider as well. Because a lot of people say, oh no, new construction don't need inspection. Are you anybody hear about that before? Like new construction doesn't need inspection? Right? Well, yes, it's important. And if you can bring it to the table and share with your buyers, let's then to make the decision is they want to pay for that inspection. You always put it in the table. And I'm 100% sure if you're working with the right builder, they're going to be agree about that. There's no reason. Builders quality concern. So how do you know about the quality, especially in new construction? If you're doing your thing, you going to be looking around what the builders are building. So this you can be blind. You can see what exactly the builders are building. So drive around the community, ask permission. This is very important. You cannot trespassing to a under construction property with a builder. You need to request. You need to request a permission for a tour. You need to request for permission for a showing, especially in a community that's under construction, because it's a liabilities there. You can get hurt. Your buyer can be hurt. But that's the way you can see the quality of construction. Look for the reviews. Look for the website. So ask to the builder, hey, can we have a meeting with the team who do the construction, like a class or seminar, or get together? They will be happy to share what they do and how they do the slab, what kind of block they're using. from when the wood or the things they're using, what kind of stuff, what kind of material, what kind of AC unit they're using, how many years in guarantee you have for the appliances. So all those kind of questions come to the table when it's come with the quality, and also when it's come with warranty as well. So you should be able to know about those things just asking. There's no reason for no asking. There's no reason of not sharing what the builders are using in the construction of your home for your buyers. It's very simple. Okay. Anybody have anything would like to add or any experience before we go to summarize the key points? Nope.
I think we're all good right now on the questions. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
So again, it's very important to understand what is exactly is your position as an agent representing the buyers, understanding the builders with who are you working with. So as long you understand that, I think that will be a key to be successful in this business and working with builders. So, and always important to ask the question, always important to listen what your buyers need, and always important to know with who you are partnership. Okay. So I
Okay.
think that's basically the end of the presentation. I hope everybody like it. And if anybody have any question, we'll be happy, even after I can share more information here from how we're working in Florida.
Yeah. I tell you what, I really appreciate you sharing all these details. I really wanted our agents to understand, what it was, the builders, how the builders operate and how they can interact and work with the builders. And I tell you what, if you guys do a good job with the builder, repeatedly bringing in buyers, don't be surprised if they reach out to you and want to form a relationship with you, an official relationship. Bigger builders already have inside sales teams and marketing budgets, but the smaller builders, they don't have that. You know, so they don't have marketing budgets. They don't have inside sales teams. They need you to be their sales team for them. And if you understand them better, like you learned tonight, you'll have those relationships, not just the buyers, but the builders. So yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's totally, and I think this is the value that you bring to your buyers when it's
Mhm.
come to new construction. Knowing first where you try to, putting into your buyers is important. Not just because, this is here or this is the best deal or whatever. No, just know it first, and that will be a peace of mind for you and for your buyers. You can go to your bed and sleep very nice, after knowing that you're doing the right thing,
Mhm.
So, but
Yeah.
thank you again. I appreciate that. Gary, Jessica, everybody, XP, you guys rock. I appreciate that the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
You got
much.
it. You're welcome. I really appreciate you doing this again, Azil. And guys, before you go, I want to give a shout out to Kathy Urich, but a closing on, was that, I think, Thursday or Friday, Kathy, on that. And remember, it's the one she
It was
just
on
went to.
Friday.
Yeah.
It was
So
on
you just
Friday.
went to the investor club meeting and, Cameron met the investor
Built,
there and he gave you this deal to sell. And I mean, that's perfect. Mm.
yeah, and I set up a call with you because he wants to talk about wholesaling.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if we can get him to see the truth behind all that. So okay,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All
we'll
right.
do that.
Guys, thank you so much. Have a good evening and looking forward to see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Azil, I wanted to ask you. So you're in Florida and Georgia both building?
No, we are only in Florida right now,
Right.
basically in Palm Coast, in Central, and
Okay.
in 4 different cities in Florida. But yes, and close to Miami area too. Yes,
Okay, good. It's a
yes,
Stella Living. Okay. So everybody
yes,
keep that in mind because many of you probably have clients that want to buy a property in Florida. I mean, it happens every year by the tens of thousands. So you got a
yeah.
contact down there, and I'm pretty sure Stella Living does a pretty good job. if Azil can come here and teach a class like this and not ask anything in return, that speaks a lot.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate that. And I think always knowledge is power, and as long we can share knowledge, I think that's the best as a colleague, you know,
yeah.
that and business and money come after. I'm 100% sure about that.
I agree. I agree 100%. Our philosophy at EXP is a rising tide lifts all ships. So as
Yeah,
you come a contribution and serve others, that's how you win. That's how everybody wins. So
absolutely. Thank you,
yeah.
guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica, too. For bringing
Thank you,
bringing the zeal
Jessica.
to us.
Yeah, thanks, Azale. That was great.
Yep.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Have a good evening, guys.
Okay, you
Thank
guys
you.
have a
You as
wonderful
well.
night. I'll see you on your one-on-ones, and I'll see you again next Monday. Next Monday is our own Christian Petroza. He's in our downline, and he's been working with investors a lot using Really Flow, and he's going to only phone calls only now. He's actually cutting out the letter because he's making appointments, and it's going well. So make sure you're there next Monday. That'd be a great one also to bring your invite guest to.
Mhm.
So okay, guys, you have a wonderful night. God bless you and your loved ones, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.